Imagine this. You've just pulled an all-nighter, your brain buzzing with facts, figures, and concepts. You close your books, feeling a surge of accomplishment, convinced you've mastered the material. But then, as the morning sun streams through your window, a terrifying realization dawns. It's as if your brain hit the delete button overnight. The knowledge, the effort, the hours, all seemingly vanished into thin air. You're not alone. It's a frustration almost every student on Earth experiences. We pour our energy into learning, only to watch it slip away. But what if I told you there's a different way? What if there's a secret, honed over centuries, that allows an entire nation of students to not only memorize incredibly complex information, like over 2,000 intricate characters in the Japanese language, but to retain it for life? Think about that for a moment. Remembering thousands of tiny puzzles, each with multiple meanings, and never forgetting them even years down the line. While you're battling the endless cycle of cramming and forgetting, there's a system that locks knowledge in your mind permanently. The question isn't whether it's possible, it's why you haven't discovered it yet. You're about to uncover the mind-blowing truth behind their extraordinary memory, a truth that could revolutionize how you learn, study, and remember everything. The frustration you feel when knowledge evaporates isn't a sign of laziness or a lack of intelligence. It's simply how our brain is wired. Your brain is an incredibly efficient organ, constantly sifting through information and prioritizing what it deems truly important, discarding the rest to prevent overload. This innate mechanism is precisely why the traditional methods of cramming often fail us. Yet, in Japan, students face an astonishing academic challenge. They are expected to flawlessly memorize thousands of kanji characters before even graduating high school. This isn't just about passive recognition, it demands active recall, the ability to write, pronounce, and apply these intricate symbols in various contexts. Imagine the sheer mental feat of retaining over 2,000 unique pictorial puzzles, each loaded with multiple meanings, and remembering them with crystal clarity years after they were first learned. This profound difference begs the crucial question: how do they achieve such a remarkable level of retention? Do they possess some innate superior intellect? Do they simply outstudy everyone else, spending every waking moment buried in textbooks until exhaustion sets in? The answer, surprisingly, is no. Their secret lies not in brute force, but in a profound understanding of how the brain truly learns and remembers. They don't just study, they follow a deeply ingrained routine that works with their brain's natural rhythms rather than against them. It's a rhythmic dance of learning, not a grueling, relentless grind. And in this video, we're going to meticulously dissect this powerful system, breaking it down into easily digestible, actionable steps that you can seamlessly integrate into your own life, regardless of what you're striving to master. Because if this ancient wisdom can empower them to engrave thousands of complex symbols into their long-term memory, just imagine the transformative impact it could have on your upcoming exams, your professional development, or even your journey to conquer a new language. Most of us mistakenly believe that true learning only begins the moment we sit down at our desks, surrounded by books and notes. However, in Japan, the preparation for effective learning commences far earlier, sometimes, astonishingly, from the very instant they awaken. This isn't arbitrary. It's rooted in a fundamental understanding of the brain. Your brain isn't a machine that you can simply power on and expect peak performance. Instead, it's far more akin to fertile soil. If you attempt to plant precious seeds in dry, neglected ground, starved of nutrients, nothing will flourish. But if that soil is carefully nurtured, watered, warmed by the sun, and given light, suddenly everything you plant takes root and thrives. This is precisely how Japanese students consciously water the soil of their brains each morning. Before a single textbook is opened or a note is reviewed, many Japanese students purposefully step outside. Even a brief walk to school, a moment spent stretching by a window, or simply standing in the morning light exposes their brains to natural sunlight. This isn't just a pleasant start to the day, it's a potent biological signal. Sunlight entering the eyes communicates to the brain, "Wake up, it's time to focus." Scientific research corroborates this, showing that proper morning light exposure strategically boosts cortisol levels at the optimal time of day, effectively resetting the body's crucial circadian rhythm. The tangible result? Sharper cognitive function and significantly enhanced memory recall throughout the entire morning. Furthermore, some Japanese students incorporate light physical activity into their early routine. We're not talking about an intense, sweat-inducing workout, but rather just enough gentle movement to stimulate blood flow. And compelling studies consistently demonstrate that even a mere 10 minutes of this kind of mild exercise can elevate memory recall by an impressive 20%. Perhaps one of the most counterintuitive yet profoundly effective strategies employed by Japanese students is their approach to revision. Rather than immediately plunging into new material, they begin their study sessions by quickly revisiting what they learned the day before. Crucially, this isn't passive rereading or highlighting. It's an active process of recalling and testing themselves, drawing information out of their minds before attempting to put new information in. This stands in stark contrast to the prevalent Western approach, where we often become fixated on input, endlessly reading more, watching more, accumulating more. In Japan, the emphasis shifts dramatically to output, to actively retrieving knowledge from the depths of the brain. And here lies the sheer brilliance of this method. By consciously recalling yesterday's knowledge first thing in the morning, the brain actively strengthens those neural pathways, making them more robust and accessible, just moments before it embarks on the task of forging entirely new connections. Finally, a truly surprising, yet deeply ingrained aspect of their morning ritual often goes unnoticed by outsiders. Japanese culture profoundly values quiet, deliberate rituals. The slow, meticulous pouring of tea, the precise arrangement of one's workspace, a moment of mindful breathing before commencing a task. These actions, seemingly small and insignificant, send a powerful message to the brain. This moment is important. This task matters. That cultivated sense of importance is the critical catalyst that begins to shift information from fleeting short-term memory into the enduring archives of long-term storage. Thus, the Japanese morning routine is not about hurried efficiency. It is a carefully orchestrated alignment of natural light, gentle movement, active recall, and intentional stillness, collectively creating the ideal soil for planting new knowledge. It is only after this mindful preparation that they fully immerse themselves in the rigorous demands of serious study. As the day progresses into the afternoon, many students globally fall into a common trap. They approach their study sessions like an endless marathon, fueled by copious amounts of caffeine and a rising tide of panic as deadlines loom. This often leads to hours of continuous grueling cramming, where mental fatigue rapidly sets in and retention plummets. In stark contrast, Japanese students operate on a profoundly different rhythm, one that doesn't attempt to fight against the brain's natural limitations, but rather works harmoniously with it. The cornerstone of their afternoon strategy lies in implementing strategic, concentrated blocks of effort. Instead of enduring 3 or 4 unbroken hours of study, which inevitably leads to diminishing returns, Japanese students ingeniously break their work into focused intervals, typically around 40 minutes of intense concentration, followed by a vital 10-minute period of genuine rest. This cycle isn't arbitrary. It meticulously mirrors the brain's inherent rhythm of fluctuating attention, recognizing that periods of peak focus are naturally succeeded by inevitable dips. During these crucial dip moments, when most Western students would attempt to push harder, battling waning concentration, Japanese students consciously pause. They engage in brief, restorative activities, a short walk to stretch their legs, a few moments of gentle stretching, or even simply gazing out a window, allowing their eyes and minds to momentarily wander. To the untrained eye, these breaks might appear unproductive, a waste of precious study time. However, scientific understanding reveals that these pauses are, in fact, powerful resets that are absolutely vital for maintaining strong, sustained memory. Here's the compelling science behind it. When you take a break immediately after a period of intense learning, your hippocampus, the brain's central memory hub, remains actively engaged, replaying that newly acquired knowledge in the background. So, while you perceive yourself as merely resting, your brain is actually performing critical organizational work, consolidating memories without your conscious effort. Beyond these disciplined study blocks, another pillar of the Japanese method is their sophisticated approach to reviewing material. Instead of mindlessly rereading the same chapter until their eyes glaze over, they employ a highly effective technique known as spaced repetition. This involves revisiting knowledge at carefully calculated increasing intervals. Imagine learning something new on day 1. On day 2, you actively recall it. On day 4, you recall it again. Then again on day 7, and so on. Each subsequent recall session isn't just a repetition, it's like sharpening a blade, making the memory keener and more resilient. By the end of a month following this systematic pattern, that knowledge isn't just remembered, it's deeply carved into your neural pathways, rendering it almost impossible to forget. And here's the most fascinating revelation. This method doesn't demand more time from you. In fact, it dramatically reduces the overall time spent studying, as you're no longer squandering hours fruitlessly rereading information your brain has already subconsciously tuned out. There's also a subtle, yet immensely powerful dietary discipline at play. In the afternoon, Japanese students meticulously avoid the heavy, often greasy lunches that are notorious for inducing the dreaded food coma. Their meals are typically lighter, centered around nutrient-rich components like rice, fresh vegetables, and lean fish. These food choices are designed to provide a steady, sustained release of energy without triggering the dramatic blood sugar spikes and subsequent crashes that can devastate focus and mental clarity. Why does this seemingly minor detail matter so profoundly? Because sustained focus isn't solely a matter of willpower, it's fundamentally biological. A stable, clear mind is inextricably linked to a balanced, well-nourished body. Furthermore, another deeply ingrained cultural habit subtly influences their afternoon productivity. Even within the often crowded environment of a classroom, students frequently engage in tiny, intentional acts of mindfulness. This could be as simple as taking a single deep conscious breath, subtly adjusting their posture to enhance alertness, or taking a moment to simply notice the quiet spaces between sounds. These micro-pauses are not distractions, they are deliberate resets that help to recenter attention and proactively prevent the onset of mental fatigue. While Western students often feel compelled to relentlessly push through sheer exhaustion, Japanese students are taught the wisdom of stepping back, resetting their minds, and returning to their tasks sharper and more effective. Therefore, the Japanese afternoon isn't about the futile pursuit of doing more. It's a strategic masterclass in doing smarter. It's about studying in focused bursts, diligently reviewing at optimal intervals, choosing foods that promote clarity rather than inducing a crash, and consciously resetting your mind before it can even approach the brink of exhaustion. This sophisticated approach is how they maintain unwavering consistency day after day, week after week, ensuring their accumulated knowledge doesn't mysteriously vanish when exam day finally arrives. For many, the moment the books close signifies the end of the day's learning. However, in Japan, the hours leading up to bedtime are considered just as, if not more, critical than the study sessions themselves. This is because the night is when your brain undertakes the vital, almost magical process of deciding which fragments of information to commit to long-term memory and which to simply discard. Instead of succumbing to the ubiquitous temptation of endless scrolling through social media or digital entertainment before bed, Japanese students routinely engage in a swift, light review of what they've absorbed throughout the day. This isn't a laborious, hours-long study session. It's a strategically brief, 10-minute engagement. The brevity is key. Reviewing right before sleep sends an undeniable signal to your brain. This information is important. Prioritize it. During the night, while you're peacefully asleep, your hippocampus, the brain's primary memory consolidation center, diligently replays the experiences and information you've most recently interacted with. This nocturnal replay is the fundamental mechanism through which transient short-term knowledge is meticulously transformed into durable long-term memory. You can think of it in terms of saving a digital file. If you painstakingly create a document but forget to hit the save button before your computer unexpectedly crashes, that work is irrevocably lost. The same principle applies to your learning. Studying without a deliberate pre-sleep review is akin to working without saving. The information is vulnerable to being deleted by morning. Moreover, a consistent body of scientific research unequivocally demonstrates that deep restorative sleep is the ultimate non-negotiable study hack. While you are in the deepest stages of slumber, your brain isn't idle. It's actively reorganizing knowledge, systematically pruning away irrelevant noise, and powerfully strengthening the neural signals associated with truly important information. The critical caveat, however, is that this profound consolidation only occurs during these deeper phases of sleep. This is why Japanese students place such a high premium on meticulous sleep hygiene. This means dimming lights, strictly turning off all screens at least an hour before bed, and cultivating a serene, predictable routine instead of allowing chaotic late-night stimulation. Every late-night scroll, every unnecessary cup of coffee consumed too close to bedtime, every just one more episode on a streaming service directly steals from the very memory you've been working all day to build. The venerable Japanese principle of Kaizen, which champions continuous, small, steady improvement, extends seamlessly into their evening routines. Many students consciously set a micro goal for themselves before drifting off to sleep. Perhaps writing just one insightful sentence in a journal, successfully recalling one challenging flashcard, or practicing a single kanji character. The emphasis here is not on sheer volume, but on fostering a consistent rhythm of progress. A day that concludes with a sense of accomplishment, no matter how minute, generates vital positive momentum that propels them into a more motivated and effective tomorrow. There is a beautiful and profound Japanese word, ma, which translates to the space between, the pause, or the silence. As night descends, Japanese students often consciously embrace a few minutes of this deliberate quietude. There is no rushing, no clamor, just a serene stillness before sleep. This isn't unproductive time. It is, in essence, a crucial bridge that allows the mind to gracefully transition from the day's external stimulation into the restorative depths of sleep. And it is in this profound state of physical rest that the mind truly remembers and solidifies its learning. In stark contrast, many Western students often find themselves trapped in debilitating cycles of extremes, intense late-night cramming sessions leading to burned-out mornings, followed by drowsy, unproductive afternoons, only to repeat the cramming cycle. However, Japanese students, through generations of cultural wisdom and deeply ingrained habits, have grasped a fundamental truth that we often overlook. True intellectual mastery and exceptional memory are not forged in the crucible of one intensely demanding study session. They are instead the cumulative result of a sustained, consistent rhythm of daily repetition, day by day, step by measured step, incorporating small, deliberate reviews, cultivating light, restorative evenings, and prioritizing truly deep rest yields extraordinary results. The outcome isn't merely better grades, it's the profound gift of knowledge that remains etched in the mind for a lifetime. Therefore, the Japanese approach to night isn't about pushing harder, it's about intelligently working with biology. It's about reviewing lightly, sleeping deeply, concluding the day with a sense of calm, and then allowing your brilliant brain to do its most important work while you rest. Because the ultimate secret to lasting memory isn't solely found in how you study during the day, it resides powerfully in how you choose to end it. So let's confront the undeniable truth, a truth that might just shatter every misconception you've held about learning and memory. The Japanese students whose seemingly superhuman ability to recall vast amounts of information you admire are not, in fact, superhuman. They are not blessed with abnormally large brains, nor do they possess secret, genetically encoded IQ levels or mystical powers that grant them an unfair advantage. Their extraordinary capability stems from something far more accessible: far more human. They have mastered the art of rhythm. Their mornings aren't a frantic rush, but a deliberate alignment of mind and body. Their afternoons aren't a heavy, energy-draining slog, but a strategically structured dance of focus and rest. Their evenings aren't a wasteful void, but a sacred time for sealing in knowledge. And their nights aren't a chaotic, restless period, but a profound, restorative journey into deep sleep. When you begin to stack these seemingly small individual habits, each one a gentle nudge towards optimizing your brain's natural functions, something truly extraordinary begins to unfold. Knowledge ceases to be a fleeting visitor, making a brief appearance for a test only to vanish afterwards. Instead, it takes root, it lives within you, becoming an integral, indelible part of who you are. Now take a moment to reflect. How many times have you dismissed your own potential with phrases like, "I'm just not a morning person," or resigned yourself to the belief that "I'll never remember all this stuff"? What if for all this time you've been entirely wrong? What if the limitation wasn't inherently you, but rather the outdated, inefficient method you've been forced to adopt? The Japanese way offers irrefutable proof of one powerful principle. You don't need more hours of grueling effort. What you truly need is a vastly superior, more harmonious rhythm. This revelation isn't just theory, it's an urgent invitation. Starting tomorrow morning, I challenge you to try just one single piece of this profound routine. Not the entire overwhelming system, and certainly not the pursuit of immediate perfection, but simply one small, manageable step. Perhaps it's just 2 minutes of gentle movement as you greet the day. Maybe it's reviewing a single flashcard before breakfast, or perhaps tonight it's making the deliberate choice to switch off your screens just 30 minutes earlier than usual. Do it just once. Consciously observe and feel the subtle yet profound difference it makes. And then, allow the cumulative power of this new rhythm to take hold, to do its incredible work. I can tell you this with absolute certainty. No fleeting supplement, no fancy productivity app, no desperate last-minute cram session has ever come close to delivering the sheer clarity, unwavering focus, and lasting retention that this deeply human, profoundly effective routine offers. It is simple, it is entirely aligned with our biology, and it unequivocally works. If this video has ignited a spark of possibility within you, I urge you, don't let that spark fade here. Join this transformative journey towards smarter, more effective learning. Hit that subscribe button right now. Share this crucial insight with a friend, a classmate, or anyone you know who is struggling with the relentless battle of information overload and memory loss. Together, let's collectively rebuild and redefine the way we learn. Because the future of success and mastery doesn't belong to those who merely study harder, but unequivocally to those who embrace the wisdom of studying smarter. And that, starting tonight, can absolutely be you.